All right. All right. Well, so what are we talking about today?
Uh, we're talking about allowing yourself to feel all the feels. And what that means is all of your feelings are valid. Um, Grief, you go through a roller coaster of emotions. So I want to talk about kind of my emotions and kind of what that looked like for me and what it still looks like for me. Because today I am actually extremely nervous. I am shaking on the inside. And I don't know if that's because I'm talking about feelings. Uh, um, I don't know, but I'm not, I haven't been really nervous like that the past other videos, but I'm very nervous. I guess it's talking about how I felt and how I still feel. And it's a vulnerable place. Um, you know, I'm going to share some intimate things about my life. I was a teen mom. So I was 14 and pregnant. And so Dominic was, I grew up with him. And so to hear that he died at 25, my first feeling was disbelief. It just didn't make sense. Um, I think I've said before that the connection wasn't there. I I didn't understand it. Like I literally did not understand it. I remember thinking like I heard what she said, but no, that can't be possible. But I know my body started crying, but the 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 fullness of it did not come until a little bit later, I guess. Um, that's one emotion. Another emotion that I know was like this extreme sadness, you can't really, you can't feel it. You don't know what to do. You just, this overwhelming feeling of sadness. You're crying all the time and you feel bad that you're crying all the time, but what else am I supposed to do? My son is gone. Just this loss. You just feel lost. You feel like, okay, I'm supposed to pick up and start living again, but you don't really know how to. I went to a grief group. I'm not sure exactly if it was a year or two, I don't know, afterwards. And we created this, it looks crazy, but when I look at it, I remember what it was for me, that, the semblance of it for me. And so we had to write in here our emotions of how we felt when we lost our loved one, our babies. And I'm going to kind of use this as a guide a little bit. And one of the words that I have in here is disbelief. And another one was alone. Nobody got it. Nobody, nobody got it. And I needed somebody to get it. My mom, my best friend, my boyfriend, Aiden, somebody just to feel the exact same thing that I'm feeling. Because at this time, Dominic's dad wasn't around. And we'll talk about that later. But you want somebody to just be like, and cry the same kind of cry that you have, the same type of anguish that you feel. You want that connection. And I could not get that immediately. I didn't know. I wanted to die, to be honest with you. And that is so not like Tanisha. Anybody that knows me, I'm typically happy and smiling all the time. And I love encouraging people and inspiring people and lifting everybody up. And one significant moment, I remember going on a plane somewhere. I don't know, we were going somewhere. I don't know. And, normally when I get on a plane, I'm praying, making sure, Lord, get us there safely. And, I pray that I arrive back safely. And I didn't pray. This was the first time I was like, I didn't care if the plane didn't make it. That is significant for me because I've never been a suicidal person. I've never thought about harming myself. But I was like, I'm okay. Okay, who can take care of Aiden? Okay. Everything else, I'm okay. If as long as Aiden's taken care of, I was ready to just be with Nick and Jesus. But that's not how my normal mind thinks. My normal mind did not think that way. But I couldn't see that at the time. I couldn't come to grips with my emotions. I was extremely angry. I mean, when I say angry, I remember one time screaming, and in my room, we're in the spare bedroom, I was screaming, just screaming, like, why? Asking God why. Like, I was so mad. And I told someone I was angry with God. And they're looking at me like, how dare you be angry with God? I didn't have no answer. Who else am I going to be angry with? I mean, my son literally died in his sleep. What do I do with that? What was I supposed to do with that? And, you know, when you're grieving, you got to place your feelings somewhere. And God got it. I was angry. I love the Lord. I trust him. I knew that, but there was a separation that I had. I was split with my feelings as a human person, and my spiritual side was on the other side. Like, yeah, I was devastated, and I couldn't understand why he would do this to me. I felt like it was a direct betrayal. You betrayed me, God. And I couldn't get past that for a minute. I don't know. It just, I mean, and it didn't, that lasted for a long time. Now, when I say angry with God, didn't mean that like I just, because I still prayed. I still prayed. I still, you know, I knew where my help came from. You know, I knew all those things. But when I had my moment where I just couldn't understand and make sense of things, my anger went to him. Um, my friends and my family, they tried the best they could to be there for me, to be that, you know, quiet. But I needed something more. I needed a way to survive this. You know, another, I was scared. I was scared of learning how to live without my son, of what that really looked like. One, I couldn't even imagine it. But when, you know, you have your lucid moments and you think about how do I continue to do this? After he died, for the first 30 days, I could not get behind the wheel of a car. I could not drive. It felt like if I got behind the wheel of a car, I was leaving him. Like I was living my life without him. And he didn't die in a car accident. It didn't make sense to me. But that's what happens with grief. It doesn't always make sense. So if you're dealing with someone that has lost a child or anybody, and you're thinking, this person has lost their mind, probably so. Grief doesn't make sense. It's hurtful. It changes how you don't, it's not, nothing's always normal. It's just, and you know what happened? God had jokes. My mom was here with me, and she stayed with me, I think, for 4 months. But those 30 days, my mom, and we'll talk about her on another one, but she has a hard time expressing her emotions. So she held everything in. And with that, she ended up having issues with her health. So she had to go to the emergency room. I don't know how she got there. I'm assuming somebody took her, because it wasn't me. And they was releasing her from the hospital. And guess who had to go pick her up? That was another reason. I was just so up like, what? You can't, I don't even know if we probably had Uber, but I couldn't Uber her. I don't know. But I was forced to get behind the wheel of a car to go pick up my mom. And I just didn't see how that was even going to, I guess God was kind of bringing me to back to myself, realizing you got to learn how to live, Tanisha. You got to learn how to continue on with your life. And just those simple things I couldn't do. I just didn't know how to do it, you know. Just like this, we this was completely whole when we got it, and we put it in a bag, and we took a hammer to it, and we broke it into pieces. And one of the words that I put on here on the inside is, I felt broken. And I did not see being pieced back together. It just didn't seem possible. I felt broken. You know, even now. I mean, it's 9.5 years later, and I'm not the same. Can I smile and laugh? And absolutely. Am I happy? Yes. But I'm not the same. There's pieces of me that's still missing, large pieces of me that's still missing. I know for a long time I felt guilty. I felt guilty about laughing. Like, how dare you laugh about something? Your son just died. Are you crazy? Are you going to go to a party, really, Tanisha? You're going to go to somebody's party and Dominic died. Like, how are you going to ask me to go to somebody's party and my son just died? Are we going to talk about your grandkids? Or I won't have any. By him biologically. Those thoughts go through your head, but you know that I don't really mean that. But it's like this loss that I can't get back. I'm looking at pictures and I'm like, this is devastating. I could never really look at his pictures for too long. Like, I have a picture of my son, Aiden, in here, and I can look at him and I can smile and just, oh my gosh, my baby. But I look at Dominic and I have to shake my head like I can't stare at him too long because I just can't believe it. There's that disbelief again. And it's 9.5 years later. There's that disbelief. And then there's that anger sometimes. Even now, there's that anger because I miss my son. I still can't believe he's gone. That has not left me. I'm still in disbelief. My biggest, I have a huge support group. I call him my son. One of my sons is here with me now. Just because I asked him, can you come over here and be my support while I do this video? So I have an amazing support group. But guess what? Those aren't the ones that really could really help me when I needed connection. I needed somebody to say, Tanisha, and her son died too. Her daughter died too. And we can cry, talk, make it make sense. Like it just clicked. People have the best of intentions, but you just don't get it. I wouldn't want you to. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But when I tell you these feelings that I had in here, crushed, anger, the why question, I felt forgotten. I felt like God had forgotten me. Remember, these are my feelings. Even though they're very valid, my feelings are valid. I know that that's not my spiritual side. But my flesh, I felt forgotten. I felt I know he wasn't trying to destroy me, but like if I didn't figure out how to get out of this, to learn to live again, I was going to be destroyed. That's what grief does. you lose your baby. He was my friend, my son, my first love. I think about his laugh and his gray eyes when he was a baby, and his crooked lip when he would smile or cry, his raspy voice. This is my emotional support bear, right? I didn't get one of these until a couple of months ago, really. And my aunt, and she lost her daughter. She told me about when she got one for her and her grandson, and I was like, I'm gonna go do that. So I call him George because that's what they call Dominic. They all call themselves George, but his name is George. And I have a little heartbeat. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But I also have audio of Dominic's voice in this hand. I'm not going to play it right now because it's not as clear as I would like it to be. But when I'm laying in the bed and I just want to just hear his voice, I know what he's saying, and it helps me. I'm so glad that I have audio of him. I don't have a lot of video, but I'm glad of the video that I do have. Sometimes I might cry when I hear those videos and the audio, but that's okay. It's okay to cry. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Stop crying. No. Your feelings are valid. Your emotions are valid. This loss is real and it's painful. Even now, I can't believe it'll be 10 years in October. And even though I can smile now, genuinely, because this message is not about healing. Because I promise you, I never thought that healing was even possible. Never thought it was possible. But I do believe that I've learned to manage things a little bit better. But I've allowed myself to cry when I need to cry. I've allowed myself to be angry when I need to be angry. And to laugh and to smile and to talk about him and to all those different things. I no longer want to hurt myself, but I got help. We'll talk about that too. But those feelings that you have, they're real. They're you can't make sense of them sometimes. And that's okay. I hope that this I just want someone to be able to connect to what I'm saying, that it might help somebody to let you know that, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. I miss my baby.